Hi, my name's Anna, and I want to share my testimony today. My testimony is from millions to Jesus. I grew up in a really privileged home. We had everything that you could think of. My father was a bank manager, so he traveled all over the world. My sister was born in New York, my brother in Brazil, and I in Mexico. And then we came to London, where we had a very privileged lifestyle. We all went to private schools. I went to the second most expensive private school in Britain at that time. I remember just before I gave my life to Jesus, just being in a group, in a polo club with horses, and looking in the distance, there was this group of people around somebody, and I said, "Oh, who's that?" And it was Prince Charles. So I was really very much in the high society and living the kind of lifestyle that many people dream of. We also felt we were kind of a little bit better than Hollywood stars because we were also very educated. So my father and mother, they both spoke 5 languages each fluently. So I really felt, well, I had it all. And then in my early 20s, things just started going horribly wrong. My health just gave way. I got very sick, and it was an illness that money just couldn't cure. I was in hospital for many months. And also all the things that money can't buy, a failed relationship. I wanted to be happily married, but the relationship failed. And I realized that there were just things going on, negative things that were just completely beyond my control. So when I got better, I decided, right, I'm going to go back into that sort of affluent lifestyle again. I decided I'm going to learn Spanish and go to Mexico and get a job. So I started going to Spanish courses, and the Spanish teacher was a born-again Christian. And after the Spanish lessons, we used to go from the school to the train station, and I would be talking to her. And sometimes her husband was there, and I just I noticed this absolute supernatural peace when she was together with him. And I thought, I really want that. And then she told me that she had immigration issues, that she was at the German Home Office to get her documents. She wasn't quite sure whether she had a proper residence permit in Germany, but she said she wasn't concerned or afraid at all. God would just take control. I thought, wow, you have a husband and she had a small child by that time, and you don't know whether you're going to be deported in the next 1 or 2 or 3 weeks or months. I thought, wow, that is a real supernatural peace. So then one day, everybody, for some reason, nobody came to the Spanish class except me. So I was alone with her. And she started telling me about Jesus Christ. And she led me to Jesus. She said, "Do you want to give your life to Jesus Christ?" I said, "Yes." So I did. You might be wondering, well, how do you give your life to Jesus Christ? It's so simple. You acknowledge that he's the Son of God. You come to him as a sinner. You say, "I'm sorry, Jesus, I'm a sinner. Please cleanse me of all my sins." And then you say, "Jesus, come into my life." And from that moment on, everything changed. Not maybe externally, maybe not so much, but internally something had happened. I felt such a supernatural peace, a joy, a love surrounding me. The things that I found so difficult before became easy. Things like having compassion for people. When you grow up in a fairly privileged home and you have money, you should be helping people. You should have compassion, but I just didn't. I used to see pictures of like starving children in Africa, and it didn't touch me, and I thought something is wrong. But as soon as I gave my life to Jesus Christ, I had this desire to read the Bible and to get closer to him. I started going to the church she was going to, and I was reading the Bible, and something inside changed, that I started to have more compassion for people. And in the year 2000, I traveled to Nigeria, and this is just one picture of, I saw this image. I saw this beggar who was a leper, and he was a leper. I could see that because he had no fingers and just stubs for his feet. And this overwhelming compassion just came over me. And then some years later, my little son was raising money in school for lepra, for the charity. And I just gave with all my heart, because that image that God had put there just stuck in my mind, and I gave. And my son had been suffering from eczema for many years, and I just couldn't get him healed. All the creams and the doctors just couldn't heal him. Within 3 weeks, he was completely set free and completely healed. He's never had anything since. And I just want to encourage anybody, maybe you are really striving to live for that lifestyle. I know what it is, the yachts, the holidays, the traveling, the high society, the lifestyle. I know what it is, but I also know what it's like to have that deep void and kind of depressed feeling that despite that you have all these things, there is a void inside you. There's an unhappiness inside you, a joy that you cannot get from these material things. It's what Jesus calls he says, in the world you will have peace. Jesus is talking about a kind of peace that is in the world, that you do get from going on a holiday, and God wants us to have that, but he doesn't want us to draw our main joy from these things. So, and I really know what people are going through. Maybe, when you lose thousands of pounds but you still have millions in the bank, there's a deep fear inside you. I know what it is, and everybody's laughing because they just think, well, you have millions, so what's the problem? But that fear of the future, that fear of what's going to happen, I know what it is. And Jesus took all those fears and took everything and just made my life new. So that's it.